expecting from this series?
Well, certainly not a win ranger. That's what I'm not expecting this time. But EG, I saw them really strong in number 1 against Liquid. Probably one of my favorites coming in from that group. I honestly believed in them more than I believed in Liquid, despite my bias, obviously, in favor of Liquid.
Same.
But they ended up being beat quite confidently, honestly, by Liquid in 2 series in a row. And now seeing against GAMBIT, I don't know what to tell you, honestly. GAMBIT is one of those teams that it reminds me a lot of the old, if you remember, old Power Rangers, and which was also an FNG team, and later on also VP or Team Spirit. These guys sometimes will absolutely destroy you. FNG, to me, is one of my favorite drafters and captains. They'll draft odd, but still very consistently and very well, and all of a sudden, next game, they'll play incredibly sloppily and lose the game in that fashion that you would expect from them. They're the dark horse of this tournament. Not in the sense that they're definitely like not very valued, but they can take a game off any team, and I'm expecting a great series, that's for sure, from GAMBIT. A bit of a fanboy here for CIS though.
Yeah, so you've switched your bias.
I've switched my bias just against the Americans, essentially.
We started the previous series saying that we favored EG going into it, and we maybe got caught up in the hype of Liquid turning around a series, turning around some games. But for GAMBIT, I am fully in agreement with you. I feel like they remind me of All Black team. Like they remind me of like the old Rocks, the old like DD Dota Team Empire, where they often run this tightrope act with their drafts in terms of absolutely dominating or getting crushed and having to find these weird wonky ways of alleviating pressure. FNG spectacular on Bane, Shadow Demon, these saving supports or setup supports, but I feel like more often than not, you mentioned Power Rangers, and it kind of rings true there. If you remember Cheshire Cat back then, the Power Rangers, Afterlife in this GAMBIT lineup, when he goes off, the team wins. The team wins games. When he has a good laning stage, they look incredibly potent. Immersion, probably the other player for me that needs a good game, and they need to kind of set up the dynamic of the draft to give him an exceptional time. So I like them picking this Bane TA first phase. They know what timing they're playing around. They know they've got signature comfort heroes for themselves. And they're starting off with some pretty early pressure.
5 seconds remaining.
But the Lone Druid ban, yeah, perfect. Remove that from the hands of GAMBIT Esports.
They know. GAMBIT has this odd pool of heroes, very similar to what Liquid is trying to do now with Wii, right? It's the power of people like Wii or Thompson, right? That they just kind of they play their heroes so well, it doesn't really matter what meta is being run right now. And Lone Druid is one of them for GAMBIT. They definitely love this. FNG draft also has to be very consistent when it comes to EG. Oftentimes, I feel like FNG is one of those drafts that has a very clear idea in mind when it comes into the draft, much more so than the adaptability that other drafters have. And if you can execute that with a lot of variation, but still execute at some degree, they have a very nice captain there. But if they can't, they sometimes struggle to make their drafts work. EG with the Sand King pick now, fantastic against TA. Really strong hero right now. And also pretty solid against the Bane. Very hard to catch a Sand King, can even Sandstorm before you get to Nightmare him, which makes it even harder to be able to kill him off.
A complete shift from EG as well. Away from the Grim, the Darkseer, the Sven and all this. And I guess the linchpin there is the fact that Grim and Darkseer are both banned first phase by GAMBIT along with the Mars. Earth Spirit, Sven, Chen taken out by EG, so Immersion doesn't get his Earth Spirit. May be able to grab up the Nyx Assassin. This looks pretty good against the Shadow Shaman, Abaddon, Sand King. You've got ways of cancelling channeling, of catching Sand King inside Sandstorm, Carapace, and some reveal.
And Nyx is just solid, right? He's always a good hero, in my opinion. There's very few drafts which I wouldn't want a Nyx. He offers a lot. The stuns, as you were mentioning, but also the break. He's the only hero, Bar Viper, that actually offers a break. Instead, though, GAMBIT. Okay, they opt for the Enigma, which I'm assuming is the position 4 Enigma as he's been played recently.
Yeah, still stuck in position 4, even... Ooh. Hang on a second. Even when they changed the Ring of Regen, Ring of Hell stuff, so there's no sharing, Enigma still looks like that... very powerful hero coming out of the jungle. EG Clinks. We've seen a lot of this in high-level pubs. Pro players have been absolutely adoring this hero. Diffusal Blade, Nullifiers, Refresher Orbs, and Refresher Shards for the additional burning armies to throw down from Clinks. Very...
and the Axe, of course.
Yeah, sure. Very fragile hero. Definitely needs to build tanky, but the amount of damage output this boy has got. Skelly Boy, plays people.
And he fulfills better role than the old Clinks used to in terms of ganking potential. Like the old Clinks used to eat a creep and hopefully get a kill, but you required a lot of items to get that catch. Now with a simple diffusal blade plus the burning armor you mentioned, anyone is game here for this Clinks. Not the best hero against TA if you don't have the burning armor, but once you have it, that refraction is just shredded through, and Clinks can absolutely dominate TA because of course that he is able to evade all the range damage from TA with strafe. So I like this hero particularly. Diffusal can also be very annoying against a TA sometimes because she might get refraction, stops the damage, fantastic, but then you still have no mana. She's a very mana dependent hero before you get any items that allow you to survive that a bit better. So I'm liking the draft by AG quite a lot. Solid team fight, good catch, good pick-off potential, and since you mentioned Blinks is very, very fragile, but Abaddon gives you that second life, sometimes the Aphotic Shield, or even the Miscoil Heal. Ooh, the answer though by Gambit is good. Lycan is one of the better heroes against the Clink.
Timing and pressure. Eidolons, Lycan summons, Blink's very susceptible to getting chased down and have the gap closed on him. You know, likes to kind of stand his ground and pump that damage out towards his opponents. Lycan's gonna shove it to you this way, and Evil Geniuses right now don't have a great array of wave clear. Abaddon doesn't do it, Shadow Charm doesn't do it safely. He's Ether Shock, and then he hit creeps. He doesn't immediately blow it up.
Sank
can with Sandstorm, but he's really your only option now to defend towers. And early days, Evil Geniuses could be under a lot of pressure from this Gambit lineup if their laning stage doesn't go well.
Yeah, you might be forcing the Sanking for an early level of Caustic Finale just to deal with the Gambit esports lineup. They're doing out of control. I agree. They might want something that can defend those lanes, and you're lacking a carry, right? Because EG is going to run the Clinks mid here.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know, though. Against the TA, I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest, of the Clinks mid.
You get the double, it's the same as Storm, right? You get the double refraction pop because the Searing Arrows is an additional source of damage, right?
Oh, really? I wasn't aware. I thought it was...
Pretty sure that's the way it works.
I know that's the way it works with Storms, but okay. If that's the case, then okay, I take that back. I was not aware of the Clinks TA match.
I'm ready to stand corrected. I very well.
All right. Well, you know, I'm a trust John Oliver here. You run a news show, right? What would I know? I'm just a poor Spaniard. It's not something I could possibly compete with. Gambit Esports, we know their pick though. They're running a support.
The fact that I'm John Oliver now. Thank you so much.
I've revealed it to the crowd. Gambit Esports himself looking for an offlaner here. So what is it that they're going to be running here in the offlane? You're looking for a bit of added team fight for the Enigma, a good black hole, so something that can actually set up for the black hole, ideally. Darkseer's not in the pool. That's the first hero that comes to mind. I wouldn't mind no, I was going to say a center, but I don't like that too much actually, considering you're running kind of a tower pushing lineup to some degree, and center Lycan is not the best combo. Who?
Like honestly, for me, Beastmaster,
Beastmaster.
More pushing power with Lycan and Enigma gives you that individual target stun to take out, you know, Abaddon or Clinks, whoever it may be. And
yeah, but up against
Enigma can lane well.
Suck it, Gareth.
Centaur.
There we go. Got the Centaur. Against Abaddon is that you don't. I guess that's the thing, right? You don't want to pick the Beastmaster against Abaddon just because you're afraid of the Aphotic Shield dispelling one of your most powerful spells. And I guess the Centaur does set up for the initiation. Nightmare plus the Stomp is very nice. And he can solo lane, which is very important when you're playing with an Enigma. You need to have an offlaner that can be self-reliant. Okay.
Terrorblade. For RTZ.
That is not what I was expecting.
That's a little bit risky, I feel, against this Lycan TA Enigma, who are very fast off the mark. Their item timings, TA Deso, Blink, Lycan, that Helm Necrobook, Immersion on that Enigma are going to go for the Arcane's Mech, I assume. Everything comes up pre-20 minutes and you're ready to fight, whereas Evil Geniuses, it feels like they an extra 5-10 to kind of get into that 25-30 period. Feels strong, but they've got this ability to cycle through ultis. If we consider Metamorphosis the TB ulti, which we do, you can cycle through the meta to take tier 1, into the Serpent Wars to take a tier 2. You've got Abaddon and Sand King to play from Fog and be those counter-initiating defensive heroes, as well as Sumail scouting the backlines, looking for kills. So you've got lots of elements here of scouting, killing, objective taking. It really comes down to how the late stage goes. If EG can have that balancing act where they go even, or even win 2 out of their 3 lanes, they're great. They're solid. They're set. Gambit, the onus is on them to, I'm going to use that word as much as they are the ones that need to pressure, right? They are the ones that need to hit those item timings, and they need to take those early objectives quickly as they can to open up the map, because they're a big map team. This Enigma, this TA, this Lycan, good at shoving out waves, playing big maps, spread out from each other, Stampede to disengage, TP to re-engage, whereas EG play much more close-knit and together.
But you are the first to propose in the case of Gambit, though, so you do get that chance before EG gets any of their items, and all EG can really do is hope that what Gambit does is not good enough to stop and then take enough towers to put pressure on your Terrorblade. Like that Terrorblade pick puts you in a bit of a pickle when it comes to Gambit's, may be a very difficult game for them to withstand that. Okay, there we see the beginning screens. The lanes, though, I would give it to EG to some degree, just because the Enigma just doesn't do much in the lane, so at least you'll win that off lane. The TA versus Clinkz matchup. Yeah, like it in lane, but he's not going to beat you out either. The Clinkz also can relieve some pressure. I think he's a big point of the strat, much like Wee's Wind Ranger, because his early kills with Burning Army can literally make the difference between Gambit push out strat, destroy your tier 2 at 4-minute 20, from Gambit that kind of fizzles out and does nothing because Clinkz is hunting their important heroes down.
I think Clinkz does well against TA, even if what I said isn't true. You're able to just
it's not a bad
down refraction, burning spears, flaming arrows.
Yeah, flaming arrows.
Searing, burning, arrowy, speary nonsense of goodness.
He has fire. Right? He's fire. So Clinkz have the range, which is really good against the TA. It depends on if you can get a couple of good side blades early, because you didn't mention he is kind of squishy. So if you want to get a lot of regen early, Clinkz is not the fastest farmer. Doesn't like obviously wasting all the gold on regen if TA gets some good hit early, but it's not a lane where I don't think either of them has too much kill potential. There's not too much. I mean, I guess the Shadow Shaman could rotate mid and kill the TA. Perhaps that's the best rotation you have. But Gambit doesn't really have a chance of killing the Clinkz, really.
Also, stop moving around, buddy.
Yeah, our cameraman is not skilled enough to catch you if you move.
No contest on bottom bounty runes. FNG all on his lonesome just takes the two. They will shift the Lycan down here. So 2.5 lane with Enigma playing off. Jungle behind this bottom lane for Dire. That leaves the Centaur alone top, and we already see and fly. Hunting old Afterlife down in the trees. They break through that tree line and drop him to about 1/3 of his health. Does he have TP to tier 1 now? I think he does. He's gonna leave it. He's saying screw it. I am jungle folk now. I'm going to sit here, not die. And the patience required to just sit there, honestly, I can't do that. I'm running to lane. I want creeps. I don't care. I'm gonna hit a creep. If I die, I die.
Yeah, but he is smart enough not to feed in the early game, so that's thank God for that, because otherwise that flag would be not in the best of positions. I'm surprised they didn't go for a shackle early on, because now, yeah, they can put a lot of damage into the center, true, but you can't really threaten the kill unless he misplays. But I guess your goal right now is just to push him out of lane, just him out entirely. You don't really care if you get a kill or not. And you're seeing this. Jesus, poor Afterlife. Has nowhere to go. They even cut this tree down here to make sure they can just attack him. There we go. See, Floss discovered the little passageway.
Man, that's some dumb shit right there. Afterlife, 22 experience. He's managed to leech some, but Arteezy will be able to hold the wave pretty far back. Aphonin, very, very close to death. Refraction was coming up, still is coming up of cooldown. 2 CS, 1 deny, 2 denies for the Clinkz, 8-2 for the TA, so Apho definitely getting a slight upper hand early on with CS lead. Sumail putting that pressure on return. So Dahak left alone. Bottom, Bane has gone wandering. Being here for S4, already cracking level 2. Still not decided whether he wants that course pick at level 2. Holding the point for now.
Yeah, Senki had the option to go. He does go for the caustic level 2 again. It's not the greatest to win the Lycan lane in general, but later on it becomes much more relevant. And it's not like Burst can do much of your solo laning, so there's no point in getting early points in it. It's a great skill, obviously, but if you can get away with getting level 7 from the lane or level 8, then you're fine with getting an early level of Caustic. Helps you farm as well with just a single point, and it's a very good value point in general. He's doing much better, though, than Afterlife, who still hasn't touched the creep, let alone come close to them. Like, he's just sapped a bit of experience. The supports are actually higher level than him, despite them being a tri-lane. They're playing around this tower range perfectly, knowing that Afterlife has nowhere to go. Wow, this is just depressing to watch, honestly. It's just so bad for poor Afterlife. He's even in a safe lane, right? Oh, he got level 2.
He's done well for... Oh, shit, those side blades. Sumail forced to salve again, bringing a number of salves.
Yeah, that's
middle
simple.
lane. That's bottom. Getting pressured back. But yeah, coming back up the top. Terrorblade 18 and 15 right now. Denying a heck of a lot of farm away from... But he's doing well Afterlife, not dying, keeping himself in the lane in an experience range, because he knows that if he stays alive and doesn't feed kills with Shadow Shaman and Abaddon, Immersion's Enigma in the jungle is getting that efficiency play going. We see 17 and 2. The Enigma's net worth is going to start skyrocketing. The item will come out faster, whether it be the Arcane's mech or the Helm of the Dominator. Looks like it will be the Arcane's this time. And at some point, EG, for efficiency's sake, has to assess and maneuver their lanes, which they will do now. Abaddon down to bottom. S4 just gets out of sentry range there, walks back in it, he's testing it. He tested it too far though, that's the question.
Has magic stick though.
Is he out?
He is out.
Oh my god.
So lucky.
He just got out. As that nightmare started, he got out of sentry range, so FNG couldn't hit him.
Thank God for that, because he would have been dead otherwise. Brain sap ready though. FNG. Magic stick wasn't quick enough, and FNG just punishes him.
Man,
Wow.
I'd look away for a second.
You know, if you had a better computer, like perhaps one that was powered by Ray Gaming, then maybe you would catch these kills, Gareth. But unfortunately, we don't have our main sponsor.
Ray Gaming, maybe.
Yeah, you need to have. That's why it's the main sponsor of the tournament. Thank you, Ray Gaming, for sponsoring Epicenter tournament.
Well, my brain is powered by SAP and my PC is powered by Ray Gaming. That's a poggies.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, you have none of those, so we don't really have the quality.
God damn. Right, S4, S has died. Comes back to lane with it to help him out. Fly be here to try and gather up bounty runes. Immersion. Level 1 Malefice. For a whole lot here, especially with the Aphotic Shield from Fly, who does grab up the bounty rune. And now going for the second one. Immersion should be able to click fast and then have it. Is Fly going for this kill?
Yeah, it seems like as they get a kill up top.
Not elsewhere.
It seems like
I think that
Immersion he's going to the shrine.
The shrine. He's alright, he's fine. So we miss a kill top, of course we do, as we lose ourselves. Crit. Afterlife getting the grab there with the help of FNG, so I'm assuming Nightmare into Stomp, retaliate, able to burst down the Shadow Shaman.
Oh, Sumail died.
The side blades, the hit comes in, and FNG secures with the brain stab. Crit was nearby, actually made the rotation to try and mitigate that movement. But Gambit, 3-0, the aggression, it doesn't stop.
Interesting, by the way. The brain sap is not considered a projectile, I suppose. I mean, I knew that, but like I always wonder why. What's a tier for projectile? Because it goes straight through strafe, kills the clicks entirely. I guess it's just instant. It's just to cast a spell and crit now. Wants to equal the plane though. Burning Arm is committed with the shackles. This TA is going nowhere but the graveyard. Off a ninja, unfortunately. Bit off a bit more than he could chew, went too much forward, and they countered him with a haste Shadow Shaman.
Nice catch. TA,
So,
even with boots, unable to outrun them.
are you concerned that this... I mean, I guess the TA did a pretty decent job, or the Clinks did a pretty decent job in lane anyway. Actually, he's beating TA now net worth because of that kill. How concerning is that your Centaur doesn't have any form right now for Gambit? Because you compare him to the Sand King, the difference is actually not that big. 300 gold difference is for how the Centaur's early game went is not that much. And you still have the Enigma making a difference here, so... Gambit's
That's
not
the thing,
that
right? It's
unsatisfied.
one of those games where no one has farm, so everyone is struggling a little bit. I think the Enigma...
Oh, S8 Dota, yeah, I love that. I mean, sorry.
I think the Enigma kind of alleviates some of the issues that you're suffering with the Centaur. He gets a tower by top as well, getting spammed by the Abaddon and the TV. Hearteasy just drops the nice. But here comes the pressure. Here comes this initial timing hit, right? Helm of the Dominator for Dahak is ready. FNG and Immersion swinging into action down bot
Dire structures.
for the tier 1 to take with the help of the Sentinel, the Catapult, and the Glyph, all being thrown into the mix. S4 defense here with Fly. They're going to have to try and mount some kind of initiation, maybe with an additional TP from the Terror Blade or the Clinks, because they're going to get dived here.
Interesting. They're gonna the tower down bottom, maybe. The Centaur stopping the Sanking, but Sandstorm is completely zooming them out. They're 4 here, but still unable to kill off the Sanking. The abandoned Sanking was too strong. The Catapult wanted the tower. That's a free deny. Much like the Centaur did, they forced rotation there, trying to take a tier 1, but it's denied instead, right in front of their faces. Okay, no gold for nobody.
Yeah, even more gold denied on the map. Gambit. Couple of good deep observables around the shrines now, looking for those TP rotations. Most certainly feel like they should play into their vision at this point. You know, Gambit swinging towards mid. The objective is a key objective for them to take to, again, open up this map, because they are going to get on. Alpha in, again, they're hexing the shoot. Quick and easy kill on the Templar Assassin there, as Evil Geniuses bring the numbers. Gambit not respecting the power of that Clink's ulti.
Yeah, what I love though about Samael, on top of the fact that Burning Armor is so strong, is using it off cooldown every single time. It's a pretty long cooldown, and finding the kill immediately is not that easy. The rotations are essentially around the Burning Army cooldown. Once they have it, it's an easy kill on the TA. There's just not much you can do. As long as you're just a bit out of position, the Shackles, boom, you're done. You don't even need to be that much out of position. You can be under your tower, they can still dive you if the response from Gambit is not quick enough. So EG's playing this Clinks properly. He is playing the tempo controller. Unfortunately, though, even though he is dominating the TA in the mid lane, I think that could be a huge offset here. But we're giving a lot of space to our TZ right now. This Terror Blade currently skyrocketing over everyone in terms of net worth. And the timing, not so much of an issue if your Terror Blade can farm this well, and it really allows him to still have an impact with the Drums Metamorphosis kit. And he's going for Drums as his first item, it seems.
That is the scariest thing. The laning phase hasn't gone immensely poorly here for Evil Geniuses. I'd say it's been a massive success across the board. S4 going to start becoming incredibly tanky, and he is their tower defender, like we were mentioning in the draft. He's the one that primarily deals with the Lycan and such as they push objectives. Afterlife top, being hunted down by easy Fly and Crit. Courier dancing over top. And that's not going to happen. If he gets away, oh my god, he's going to survive.
Wow.
He's out of there. He kills the bloody Courier. TP's home. We're missing kills elsewhere on the map. Oh, Evil Geniuses, what has just happened? Bounty Rune battle down bottom. S4 and Samael fall. Black Hole was expended. Afterlife, the escape of his absolute life. Still with drums on it for TB. Evil Geniuses have had a couple of sloppy mistakes today. Sorry, chat. My bias is showing.
Yeah, don't you dare criticize the American team, but hey, let's be honest, that was it's just a fantastic like they were using the Courier for vision, which is quite common, but really underestimated what Centaur can do with return, and he actually gets away from that. The Courier giving vision was appropriate if it wasn't because the Courier was just a bit too close to the Centaur, and unfortunately Samael was not there for the kill. He got picked off in bottom lane, well rotated by Gambit, and this is something you see very often in FNG teams. His map control, in general, his shot call is quite exemplary when it comes to these, in general, the most known captains. That's why he's well respected among the captains, I guess. One of the captains of the Dota community. Because he does have a really good shot calling, he's able to control the map properly. When there's pressure in the top part of the map, he adapts appropriately in the bottom part. Talk about supports here, by the way, as we were mentioning FNG. Immersion decides not to go for the Helm Dominator build, but instead straight for the Mechanism, which he already has completed.
Yeah, we saw this from Yapsor at Birmingham, shifting away from that Helm build. Because you can't convert catapults anymore. You don't hit that sweet timing, you know, 7.5 minutes, whatever it may be, to go along with one of your cores and push. And you have a Helm on your Lycan, so you don't necessarily need the additional one. Getting into that Arcane's back gives you all the sustain in the world to keep just pushing down objectives very, very quickly. But coming back to your point about FNG, there's 3 wards he placed. You know, one at the Western Shrine has now expired on the Radiant side. The one on the Eastern Shrine is about to expire. But they've got so much utilization out of them. And now with a deep ward behind tier 1 mid, they'll likely look for that objective. As Dahak, low on mana, but he's got himself Necro pretty much completed Liquid on top of Helm, closing in on level 9. And it's another timing hit here to go along with TA ideally, but she's pretty far behind, honestly. They're about halfway done, but Alpha definitely struggling this game to keep up.
This wards mention is very good. I noticed that Gambit FNG specifically likes to play a lot with rotational wards, much more so than a lot of other supports. Other supports ward important areas where they might fight. Obviously, it depends, not only that, but they do prioritize those wards in general, because obviously vision in a team fight is super valuable. But FNG does prioritize that information, allowing you to rotate more effectively. And we see wards that might not give you the best position in terms of, will we have a fight there? Probably not, like this mid ward, but give you a lot of rotational information. They're very, very valuable if you want to make more risky engagements. Like, for example, this one in the bottom lane, we're seeing a smoke down bottom. No clue where the rest of the team is, but they do slightly see. Oh no, this team is just barely out of the vision of the ward. However, S4 could be in trouble. He just picked up his blink dagger. Is he getting away? Yes. Lack of vision here means S4. Oh, no, Fiend Grip!
Oh my god!
Nothing S4 can do now. They even use the Midnight Pulse, and the TPs are not coming in on time. No smoke for EG.
I think he blames RTZ for that one. RTZ mid, and they were trying to set up for some kind of play in towards the TA, either pivot towards northern jungle or the pocket triangle.
Dire's top tower is under
And as
attack.
for long TP there, even with the nice little blink purpose from the side shop to get to safety. And this opens everything up for Gambit. We've talked about how Sand King is the hero that plonks himself down in the tower, throws out the Sandstorm, and that threat, that fear factor of initiation. So you can't push blindly into these objectives as Gambit. But when Sand King's dead, the entire map opens up to you. And they rotate into mid. FNG leading the charge. No grip for a minute. We've utilized, so a nightmare. The left knee kind of add in shenanigans and a quick tower take for Gambit move in, Gambit move out. Chris leading until catch the blink done from S4 onto Alpo. It was a TA, but this is a difficult fight to take. Where's your TB? He's coming in from the north, and Lycan chasing pretty aggressively here towards Tanking. Tanky boy S4, the black hole cancelled. I crit immediately. The shackles are there. They've already blown up to Mel, but not killed him off. A shield and a mid score keep him dancing around. Skeleton badge ready to play as FNG walks away from the Terrorblade. Nobody apart from the Shadow Shaman just yet. Evil geniuses with some left of the tank. That method needs to be used, but they can't follow through.
Yeah, I mean, you lose the Shadow Shaman. I think more importantly, the Shadow Shaman losing the meta there. Because in the early game, Terrorblade can have a bit of impact as long as you fight with the meta alive. Or on off cooldown, sorry. Of course, the black hole there is pretty big Gambit, but the Enigma has more use in the early game than just a simple black hole. And EG right now is going to have to play a bit defensively for a bit. Perhaps Gambit might force something out with a smoke. Wouldn't be too surprising the TA who already picked up the blink dagger. EG, let's give some credit where credit is due. They're managing to have some really good farm in this Terrorblade. And the Clinks himself, rushing the Ag is not the most common build we see on a Clinks, but triple Wraith Band straight into the Ags to make sure that you have that pickup potential and that you're a bigger tempo controller. Not looking for your Clinks to be the only here to be, I guess, farming, you know, to be your main carry in the late game, but rather a hero that can get picked off early with the Ags pickup. And I think it's actually quite appropriate for this game. We'll see a smoke and carrying 4 rather, because Sankin goes the opposite way. Say they can find someone, but unfortunately no wards to reveal anyone's positioning. Gonna be just for Afterluck, who has not had this game. It's gonna run head on into 4 players from the EG lineup. And that's gonna be an easy kill against the enemy offlane.
That feels okay though as Gambit. Like, yeah, you lose Half-Life, he's dead for 20 seconds. Didn't have Stampede there, but you kind of look at the rest of the map. Bot lane shoved in almost at tier 2. Top lane getting pushed across with a catapult wave to boot. Enigma's going to fall back. Lycan regrouping towards his tier 2 mid because they know that's the success for EG. They can't move anywhere else on the map. The only place they could actually go for an objective is mid tier 2. Split they group, they get themselves ready, and they push this one lane out to that next team fight. Oh, FNG with Alpha, find a kill on RTZ. Deep behind enemy lines, Bane will be ever so happy and glad to give his life for a kill like that. Might have to buy some time. Inevitable though.
Radiant's top tower is
They
under
were surging in. They had bridge on Enigma, and that's what he goes against S4 blinked up the bottom. They're waiting for it. They can get the spot. There's the Bucks now seeing S4 finishing off. So it seems like FNG is worth more than just a plate. Also a sinking and perhaps fly as well. No, they can't slow him down. That borrowed time a bit too strong. But Gambit getting two very important kills and taking advantage of lack of response by EG. They can't really do much if Burning Army, and in that case when the fight started meta, is down. GAMBIT is immediately going for the Rodon, and they're playing this fast and pull lineup exactly how you're supposed to play it. Go for the early objectives, take early pickoffs, and don't let EG breathe.
Simple Roshan for them as well. No contest. We're an easy Aegis for your Templar Assassin. Where is the Terrorblade right now? What's he up to? Anti-style, 500 gold away. Still in a decent position here, Evil Geniuses, with the kind of lineup they've got. Objective taking and beating objectives difficult for them. People do need to play that real-time map, and where the warding of FNG comes into play even more. Knowing where one hero or two heroes are, you can kind of assume there's going to be 4 or 5 in that same vicinity. So as soon as you see one, they start moving out on the map elsewhere. Enigma's pushing top, Lycan pretty safe back in his own jungle, and now ships mid, so you're thinking, right, the Shadow Shaman, Abaddon, Sand King, they're probably around here. Afterlife comes, shows on bottom lane. It's super algorithmic and systematic from GAMBIT, but that's what they do. They see one hero and like, right, we're gonna spread the map pretty wide. So it's down to EG to make a play, find a pick off wherever they can.
Like this TA for no, never mind. They saw it first, but obviously Aegis, so it's a bit of a dangerous play. And the Lycan Helm of the Dominator creep. He's the Sand King. Now they can issue from behind. Did Hex the bait in time. However, ready. They go for a crit first. Down for Angel to get the kill. The Shadow Shaman is going to accomplish it first before the team fight even starts. And now, there's little EG can do without their main catch gone. They still have Aegis on this TA, so it's quite difficult to even harass her. No blink on the scent though, and the shape is gone. Shapeshift has been committed. Here they want to go for this blade, and it seems like they can with the Centaur from behind. Just needs to run a bit faster. The trap cannot be triggered. Shapeshift will be wasted. So EG at least out of that one alive, only losing 2 supports. Not that big a deal. They can still fight back with Metamorphosis ready at least half duration. Nice bro strike comes to 2. And continuing this forward, oh, stuck in the black hole! It's both him and the Terrorblade! No time for the Sunder! He's down for 15 seconds! And a beautiful 2-man stomp by the Helm of the Dominator creep! Crit is gone as well, and go for some ale again. Serve for the backline, well, at least up this Enigma, but his black hole's already being used up, and the Inscript catches the Sand King. S4 will be going nowhere either! It's a dieback for him! The guys at GAMBIT have just absolutely destroyed EG, losing a simple Enigma in the process.
20 minutes in, you're fighting in this GAMBIT lineup, who are incredibly strong. Crimson Guard, Greaves, they've got Necro 3, they've got Helm of the Dominator, Agent on TA with a blink. Everything slots into place like a beautifully built jigsaw puzzle, and barracks will fall as GAMBIT pulls the capitulation of his omelette. Evil Geniuses left wondering why, left wondering how to initiate into that bottom tier 2 fight. The disaster zone. This is one of the worst places to defend. Bottom lane in general, bottom tier 2 Dire, bottom tier 2 Radiant, super hard to defend with the backstab angles, the sidestab angles, the tree line coverage, everything is super rough for EG in that situation. And they're expecting the Sand King for S4 to kick it up a notch. They just didn't have that additional team fight contribution from anyone else. Shadow Shaman very good going forward aggressively, getting the initiation, moving towards objectives. Abaddon good at counter-initiating, keeping their team alive. If you're jumped multiple angles at the same time from a Centaur north and Enigma to the east, a TA blinking over the top of everything else. Very little you can do to answer the questions being asked by GAMBIT.
I mean, you still have the Aegis, so TA was a good target to begin with, right? And that was just very difficult, like you mentioned, initiation by EG. They lacked it as well. They caught the Terrorblade, who just sidestepped a bit too far forward. Black Hole completely canceling him. The top lane, a simple kill on the Shadow Shaman, so it seems that they played that nightmare properly. Hex is not going to help them too much, but no, there's no EG help there either. The initiation is harder for EG because, as you were mentioning, the only sort of initiation they really have is the Sand King. The Shadow Shaman being like a secondary with 2 stuns that he brings to the table, but he was killed immediately there by Afonin, and that's exactly how you're supposed to play the team fights. Take advantage of the TA's mobility, bring down the Shadow Shaman, which is probably the most annoying catch the EG has, and then EG is left with a burst strike that has to be the burst strike of the gods. Has to catch 5 heroes, and the damage has to come right afterwards, and that's just simply too much to ask S4. Well played, GAMBIT.
Really well played. Hitting their strike now. Link dagger up on the Centaur, moving into an Aghanim Scepter. for a Saturn with the BKB queued. Pretty damn close to it, in all honesty, as well as Enigma with the BKB idea.
Dire's bottom tower is
Vlad's up on Dahak Lycan, so they are prepping themselves
Radiant's top
for
tower
this
is under attack.
real big timing, around 25 minutes when everybody's absolutely ready. And they know they're a
Dire's
solid
structures
item and a
are
half ahead of their EG counterparts.
Radiant's
You
top
just look at the
tower
network
is under
board.
attack.
Red, red,
Radiant's
green,
top
red,
shrine
red.
has fallen.
That feels
Dire's
real bad
bottom
as
tower
EG,
is
doesn't it?
under
12k, 11.5, and then you've got this
Radiant's top
terrible
tower
who
is
hasn't
under
had a
attack.
game so far.
Radiant's
Popping
top
matters,
tower has
running
fallen.
away from team fights, and now having to buy a BKB of its own.
Dire's bottom tower
Try and open up the map. Geniuses spreading out wide. But Gambit, they've changed from open map to closed map. They are playing tight, uniformly, and as a team. They've got the active shove. They know they're against a very limited wave clear here. Sand King, like we've mentioned previously, really the only hero that can get the job done. The grip bottom. FNG catches Clinks. Do they have the reveal in the chase? The TP's coming through. It's Enigma first.
Oh,
Immersion
Jesus, Enigma.
doesn't have reveal, unfortunately. Still skids on away. Duke back to the fountain.
He could have Malefist there. I don't know if he got him in time. Whatever. Doesn't. I guess you don't get the kill. You lose the Fiend's grip there. But more importantly, you force the TPs, right? Gambit was prepared to take down your towers, but nice play there by Samael, he's forcing them back. I mean, for a 6k net worth to do that is not bad. Is the extent of the impact you can have at this point.
Hey, you round up, man. You always round up.
Oh, right, so 10k net worth clicks.
That's it. No, you're right. It is a 10k net worth clicks.
Yeah, round up. So, the bad thing is Ags, though, is pretty nice.
Yeah.
So, that's farm dependent. Right? The skeletons are strong regardless, as long as you have a couple levels. And unless you're going for the Dragonlance build with the extra range, it's not like you could add too much to them. Ideally, you'd have the Searing Arrows damage, but it's still a good amount of damage regardless of the skeleton block.
EG kind of stuck in the motions of pushing out waves as long as they can right now. As for up top with TB Illusion. Knocking on the door of tier 3, but no real threat that Gambit feel they need to address right now. It's become a waiting game for the next Roshan, it feels like. If Gambit get their hands on that Aegis and cheese, we could just see EG call GG. You know, one more fight around Roshan could seal the deal. Gambit shove out that mid wave. They've got top with Lycan summons going, and bottom lane, of course, naturally pushing in thanks to that melee Barret. Already falling. Gambit smoke, they move on out. They might catch Clinks here if the smoke pops and they get the reveal. Could be a nice grab, but the bounty runes have already been taken. To top for EG, to bottom for Gambit.
Yeah, let's see. Gambit. There's the initiation. I mean, Stampede's ready. They're gonna go for the easiest target. It's the Clinks, and this time Clinks knocked it away. That was easy. Just disintegrating first. Now the team fight is 4 vs 5. And they're being charged up, so it seems like they want to fight this first strike. Okay, the Enigma stopping Black Hole being important, but he still gets it off. Tackles to finally stop the channeling. This time, the Black Hole's not going to be effective. The damage is still coming out. With the Fiend's going to stop in this Terrorblade. He's going to get the Sunder. Can't use an Appanage. Montestyle to get some more space. And Sunder's FNG. It's easy. He's back to being strong, but is that going to be enough against Appanage and Afterlife? Or just pummeling him to the ground. Another beautiful burst like this. Come up with the 2 cores, but Arteezy just simply can't get away fast enough. Even with the shackles, everything's been wasted on Arteezy, but it worked out. He went down, and Appanage lives. That 2 cores for Gambit. The most important heroes here are ready to start taking some towers. But thanks to Marcel's strategy to stay low level, he's back because his respawn time is very, very low. And now he can try to do something against TA and Lycan.
Good luck, Samael, buddy. Have fun. Can't defend the top lane, and won't need to defend the mid lane thanks to that tier 2 still standing. Here.
Oh, no.
Broken by Gambit. Surely, they can't do this. This is illegal. No, stop it. Leave them alone.
No, it worked.
A bit of reverse bias coming out there, guys. Just you Twitch chat, don't you worry. I got your back. You're back.
They heed your word.
Radiant observer wards all around like Roshan and Shrine did nothing to help EG in that team fight. They are being outclassed in these battles.
You need that burning army. Even if Joe Brown thinks in net worth, you need that burning army for the extra bit of damage. It can't be just easy because you saw how effective a team script can be if you have a single source of damage. Yes, it was alright and it did okay amount of damage, especially to the support, but Center can just tank that no problem.
Radiant's
Even
middle
Alpha
tower
Ninja
is
can
under
just blink
attack.
away if you don't catch him enough. Or sorry, quicken with a burst strike. This smoke, by the way, is completely blind by EG. There's not much hope in what it could accomplish. You have two lanes already lost, both bottom and top, and the mid lane are lucky at tier 2, so they can't quite get the mega creeps just yet.
Radiant's Ancient is under attack.
They rushed straight towards Roshan. Yeah, Trap scalps it out. I'm not sure if EG know. I know. Well, Fly's walking in there. He wants to know, but I don't know if he wants to know about this. Gets caught by Gambit. 5 heroes surround that poor Abaddon. Heal and runs himself back. So the ball dropped into the mix as well with a S4 and the second one. Beautifully done. And the reflection lagging everyone. But the Fiend's Grip was caught. The Terror in the middle of it all. And the chase back on south. Emergence nailed out. Dark needs to retreat. The Terrorblade is a big beef boy, and you don't want it battling into that metamorphosis. As the bait dies to sail all the way towards the end. The Templar Assassin brought back, and they still want to fight around this Roshan. Keeping eyes on the cause of Gambit right now. But man,
Radiant's middle
EG,
tower is under attack.
one lane remaining in that mid spot. Arteezy's metamorphosis half duration now. They're trying Roshan. 27 seconds. Thank you, Krios. Lane buys back the blinky and catches. And Immersion has it all. 3 heroes gone. Call it EG. Shift enter GG.
That was brutal. What a blink there by Emergent. Even with a Midnight Pulse, which was an added insult to injury. And the only thing EG has to defend right now is a Clinks and a Shadow Shaman. Luckily for them, though, they still have the Terrorblade buyback right now. When he does buy back, gets them. Oh, he does not, sorry. I keep thinking the ult being ready at Metamorphosis, but it's not a Sunder. You can't really do much without the meta, but you know, you have a Terrorblade at least alive. Perhaps if you hit him hard enough, he Sunders someone, he might get a quick kill. Gambit, start pushing down this tier 3, and there's the Clink trying to help out with the skeletons. At least you're start forcing them back. But be careful, because the simple nightmare might set up for the kill on any of these heroes. Shapeshift that's committed. They do X up the Templar Assassin. She does the reflection again, blocking the whole game. Shackles on this Lycan. We're gonna kill him off in time, and English walks about. The Guardian is ready. Crit's done. They're out of catch. And it seems like Arteezy might be out of BKB as well. And perhaps out of life. Use the Sunder. BKB immediately forced on the mission. For now, he's still surviving, but the Queenskip is back online. And Arteezy is back offline as Gambit take the last team wipe game and the first game of this best of 3. Gambit do it. EG is so close to that loser's bracket right now.
Gambit take one in style. They did everything perfectly. Their map movement, their item timings, the team fights they took. Immersion, spectacular performance on that initiative.